Okay, so thank you, Linda, for telling me to record. Otherwise, I would have went through the whole 8 weeks and not been recording this. So we're on week eight, and if you haven't attended this, we're going to do week one next week, and then we'll roll it over. We do this for 8 weeks, and we just bring you all the best information. My name's John. I'm in South Florida here, and I'm going on 7 years with the business. Linda's going on like what, 10, Linda? Or
No, come on. Five. Of
five? Okay. You're right behind me then.
course, it's been five for the last 10 years. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. It's five. It's five.
So all right, so we're here to help. So tonight, usually I do a summary of the 8 weeks, but we can go into this handbook getting started. You're not going to have to train your offices alone. We are going to help you. The person that is your coach, your leader, your mentor, don't call us managers. That just sounds too cheesy and corporate. Um, mentor, leader, product specialist, whatever you want to call us. We're going to help you with the first few trainings. Um, you know, until you make your first million in this, follow the system. Don't try to do it another way. We have reps that do that, and sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. So this is proven this works. So why would you try to do it a different way or your way when, we're showing you the way that actually works? So when I started, or my philosophy is I'm gonna copy what all the successful people do. And that's how I got successful pretty fast, is I just watched what the successful people were doing and I copied what they were doing. Why was I going to make it hard on myself and try to do it my own way? So this is we call this the Scanner Operating Handbook. It's version September 2024. If you don't have it, reach out to us. We'll make sure you have it. But this is the latest version. This gets updated live, and there's different versions that come out as we optimize certain processes or they change, or documents change, we update this live. So this is the table of contents. Your healthcare providers, your businesses, your offices are going to have a copy of this so they can refer back to it. We don't train them one time. We take them through a processes of training. This can be weekly or this can be every day for 5 days. Some reps do it one way, some reps do it another way, whatever you feel comfortable. But what your job is, it's not the hardest part is not placing the scanner. The challenge and the work is implementing it properly to make that thing work. Like as Robert says, or Dr. Moore says, um, you know, well, I say an ATM machine, but um, a little property there just giving you a rent check or lease money every week, and you're kind of like the landlord just passing by and making sure that there's no leaks in the roof and you know the pest control's under control. And so this is the 5 steps of the integration. Linda went over this, and this is the checklist. So um, once you get that scanner agreement signed, you want to go back to the office and you want to go through this checklist. Um, you always want to book the next appointment from the appointment that you're at. So, bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. You always want to do that before so that you already have that on their calendar. So once they get that scanner agreement signed, we'd like to do a kickoff training, Doc. When's a good day to do that? Just you and the key decision makers. What day's good? I'll get with the office manager. Okay, great. Whatever it is, get the date. And this meeting is like 15, 20 minutes. I'll show you what that looks like. But there's several things that you want to do. You want to make sure when you get back that you set up their account. Well, their account's going to have to get set up before you leave there. So that's a new change. So you're going to get the scanner agreement signed, and then you're going to set up their account while you're there because it's going to need it's going to verify their account with their phone number. Is that correct, Linda, for brand affiliate? Or just the member accounts?
Um, yeah, that's correct.
So you're going to have to set up their account before you leave, and that's okay. You can do that because you have their information. Then you want to book that meeting for the kickoff meeting, and then when you get back, you have you have their login information. So you want to set a temporary login password so that you can log into their account, set up their web e-commerce, their ordering website, order their brochures, submit their letter of intent, do their policy basics in the learning center. Those are the things you want to take off their plate because that's going to hold you back from getting started. And then you want to make sure that they have an iPad, and you want to make sure that the scanner gets there before your first training date. The worst thing you can do is show up for training and you don't have a scanner there. You could do some training with your scanner, but ultimately you want to be there when the scanner's there. You want to set up the scanner for them, right? So you don't want them doing that before you get there because if they run into a technical issue, you want to head that off at the pass. You want to take care of those technical issues for them. The scanner doesn't sync up. It's locked out for some reason. Whatever the case may be, you want to be there to handle that. So you just say, look, don't do anything with the scanner till I get there. I'm going to set it up for you, right? You download the app on their iPad. Hopefully they have the login information, and then this person doesn't have it, and then you got to call. Um, but you're going to set all that up, and then that way, if there's any issues, you can call the scanner team, and you can get that straightened out for them. Does that make sense? Um, this is a little slide that was added in here on how to redeem their scan codes. That's what scan credits. That's what you want to also do. You're going to have to download their scan credits onto the app. They get a standard 1200 now. There's no more 300, so it's going to be 1200. You can download all of them, but it only counts to 999. It's not going to go to 1200. So they may only want like, you know, 300 or 600 on there at a time, and then you could show them how to load them on. These are the tools that they need. So what I do is I have these printed off. I have these separated in a folder called I don't know what I have it, new office documentation, something like that. And so what I do is I send these in attachments as a separate email before I go to the training. So with the scanner handbook, I have the antioxidant assessment, the intake form, the order form, and the scanner operator workbook. And they're in one email that I send to them, whoever the contact person is that I'm talking to in the office. That way it's separate, then they can save it on their desktop, and now it's easy for them to find when they have to print more out, because they're going to have to print these out. And what you want to do is you want to just draw a line in the sand. When are we starting to scan? And then that's the date that they're going to put these in the file folder of the patient, or give it to the patient on the clipboard as part of the check-in process. And so it just makes it easier for them to find. Questions, Dr.
Yeah,
Joe?
yeah. Just a point over here. If you guys are opening this up in the scanner operator workbook and you're trying to print straight from the computer, it doesn't work. It needs to be downloaded first on the top right onto your computer, and it's much easier to print it off that way. So whether it be the antioxidant assessment form, the intake letter, or the order form. Just a helpful tip for those who aren't as tech savvy as they could possibly be. So just spare you a headache there.
There you go. Thank you, sir. So they're going to have to download it anyway and save it on their desktop. By doing that, I just saved them a couple steps. We talked about this last night, how important it is for healthcare providers to be a product of the product. Linda said it beautifully. They start the product, everything goes smooth. The minute the doctor stops taking the product, for whatever reason, the program kind of dies. So we want the healthcare provider and the point of contact, whoever's doing the scans, hopefully those two people at least can be on product and get their score up. I have an eye doctor. Lauren scanned them. The doctor's in the orange because she hasn't been taking the product. And her staff is like an 84,000. Not a good look for the healthcare provider. So they want to be on product. And so in those first, couple of weeks, you want them to have that product. In the first couple of months, you want to have that product experience so that they can relay that to the patient. They can also share that story with the patient, build their belief, improve, optimize their health. I mean, there's just so many reasons why they want to do it. And I always start them off or start anybody off on Life Pack and Age Lock Youth. That's like my go-to. So
What I also am going to add in going forward is the healthcare providers are going to be set up to be rescanned. So now they're going to be held accountable after 60 days and then each month after that to be rescanned.
yeah,
So that's what I'm going to do going forward. And I think I'm hoping that that's going to help them stay on product.
absolutely.
Great idea. That's a good idea. I was actually setting up a scanning event today at a local gym, and someone who had been using the product when he had an eye surgery done. And the first thing that the person said was, "You're on those products," not me, to the person. "You're on those products, aren't you, Ken?" And he was like fumbling. He's like, "Well, I was on them a while back and my score went up, but then I stopped taking them." Like John just said, it is a bad look when either the doctor or the person reintroducing this to another place hasn't been on the product themselves. So just keep yourselves ready, guys. And you're not going to be not everyone's going to be at 80,000 or 85,000. Just do the best you can and be on the product, be a product of the product. I know it sounds kind of repetitive, but you do want to, at the end of the day, you want to be promoting what you believe, what you're you be promoting what you really believe in, and you're going to believe in it most when you have that experience personally.
Yep. And they will test you. You'll have some doctors that will test you, so you don't want to embarrass yourself. So these are some of the basic training for the healthcare providers and the staff that they can go learn about. Typically, we just want them to start with one, right? If they get too confused, they're not going to do anything. So I tend to have them learn Life Pack first because everybody should be on Life Pack because it's a foundational nutritional product. And so if they can recommend one product, they can recommend 10, but they have to start with one. And then these are other products for gut health. I mean, 90% of disease starts in your gut. So people have an autoimmune disease, you could pretty much track it back. Hey, have you ever had gut health issues? You're pretty much going to get 9 times out of 10. Yeah, I struggle with gut health issues. And now they have an autoimmune disease. So these are the gut health products. And then we do a lot with eye doctors. So we have a whole eye line. And then this is the game plan. I'm kind of going through this quickly, but this is the game plan, what you're going to set them up when you do with the doctor and the decision makers, because you're going to talk about money and you really don't want staff in this meeting. But you want to set expectations in this meeting because, if you don't have clear clarity on both sides, then, um, you're going to get a lot of questions. Well, I thought it was supposed to be this way. I thought it was supposed to be that way. You want to set that all up front. 50% of your patients aren't going to care, doc. 25% are going to say, let me think about it. 25% are going to say, let me do it. So those are the numbers, right? But if you have a lot of influence, it just depends on the healthcare provider, right? And that relationship. So this is the workflow. This is pretty much how you can troubleshoot. If you go in there, remember you're the landlord and you're going in checking. If there's a leak in the roof, you know where to go and what to do. Introduction's key, the bookends. This is the front end. If you don't introduce it to the patient properly, you're going to get a bottleneck. So we have a system to introduce it to that patient while they're sitting there waiting to be seen, that educates them, that gives the doctor all the background information on the patient so that they now have a game plan or a blueprint on how to direct that patient with their health. This is what that health assessment form looks like. So what are you doing to optimize your health now? How much are you spending on it? Why are you doing it? What diseases are you trying to prevent from happening? What are you willing to invest in your health? This is the letter that they read. They scan that QR code and learn about it. This is how you teach them where to place the hand. It's pretty simple, guys. It's not a big difficult test to do. You could test everyone. Somebody asked me last week, can you do an 8-month-old? Yeah, stick your little foot on there. Children, everyone, peds, this is great. Have you ever seen what kids are eating and what the children's menu is? Chicken fingers, fries, and mac and cheese. There's no vegetables on that. So many people already like in-home assessments. This is a trend for 24 and 25. People want things to be able to self-test. Biomarkers, quick, easy, non-invasive. It's a trend already this year and leading into next year. We've been ahead of the curve already. Then the staff is going to scan the patient, and then the doctor's going to do the report of findings and make the recommendation. They need to keep this as simple as possible. Look, your score sucks. You need to do this. I mean, not in those words, but your score is bad. You're malnourished, right? Your body doesn't have the nutrition that it needs from your diet and your supplements. And I want you to I want to improve your nutrition so we can correct your oxidative stress and we can prevent disease from happening. I want you to do this for two months, and then I want you to come back and we're going to retest you. They need to tell the patient what to do. When they start asking I love when doctors want the patient to be the doctor. Do you want to do this? Do you want to see if your supplements are working? No. I tell them that's incorrect. And I will tell a doctor that. No, that is not how you do it. You're the doctor. They're coming for you for influence. You need to tell them what they need to do. That's why they're coming to you. Otherwise, they would be playing doctor at home, which some of them do. This is what those brochures look like, Jackson, if you wanted to order some with your scanner. So this is the inside of it. We have all the word tracking, so they can't screw this up. We give them a grade. We put a tick mark where they scan. We put the number there. People understand a grade. Nobody likes to fail a test, get a D or an F. So their subconscious mind is trying to figure out how to get to the blue, which is ideal. And so that's what it triggers the behavioral change. Everybody knows what happens when an apple sits on the counter, an avocado, it turns brown, bananas go from green to brown on the counter. That's oxidative stress. That's what happens in your body. So you're aging faster when you're in this orange and red. So you're speeding up the disease process in your body. Epigenetics. I mean, I don't know why you would want to go anywhere else for supplements when we know all the genes in the body that cause aging. And We create products to reverse that. And then they make the recommendation. There's different tiers. Just start with tier one, doc. Life pack. $2 and I don't know what it is now. $2.70. I think it's $2.70 a day. I mean, when I was in Provo at the little coffee shop I went to, I was paying $3.94 for my drip coffee. Not even the Beetlejuice special blend that they were making or their other Halloween special drinks. I was just getting a dark roast, cream only, and it was, I don't know, a 16 ounce, whatever, $3.94. Got to break it down per day to people. They understand it.
$2.80 if you divide it by 30 days.
All right, $2.80 a day. Less than my Provo, Utah cup of coffee. Nothing against Provo, but the coffee was $3.90. Here's the back of the brochure. So we made it like an order. We also have script pads. So if you go to Chris Results, you're going to see script pads for different specialties of doctors, primary care, eye doctors, right? Orthopedic surgeons. We have special, individual, customized for the specialty prescription pads, colored and everything on Chris Results. So they can just check, 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 rip it off like they usually do and give it to the patient. Guess what, doc? You're closing the sale when you do that. Well, same thing with this, with the brochures. And then we get their commitment. We talked about that. And then the order forms. So we have order forms, but now the ordering process changed. So the patient needs to be set up before they leave. There's no more filling out the order form and putting in the order later. The champion in the office, this is the other bookend, is checking that patient out, making sure the order, their account set up and their orders placed, and they schedule that rescan. That's very important because that's a lot of money being left on the table if they don't do that. Patient leaves, chances are that sale is lost. So they have to do it before the patient leaves. That's where the most excitement occurs because every time then after they leave that office, that excitement fades, fades, and fades to zero. Some may order, but most likely they won't. So they need to get that set up before they leave because it now requires a 6-digit telephone verification. That's why. So what we did was on the prescription pads, which we need to put a picture in here, we did a QR code. Now, patients holding the RX script pad, they have their phone in their one hand, they put their camera on. Everybody knows how to do that thanks to COVID. They do the QR code, and then it takes them right to the doctor's ordering portal, e-commerce, website, whatever you want to call it. The patient then, whoever the champion is in the office, is going to help them through the steps, making sure that they click subscription and that they create their account properly. And it's pretty much easy checkout after that. But that's going to be a crucial step. So this little check mark here. Well, now I think it's different. Now I think there's a button. There's one time and then there's subscription. So there's actual buttons. So it's not so hard to miss or easy to miss. So they have one time, right, which is going to be more money than if they did the subscription. So there's plenty of reasons why they want to go on a subscription. One, they're going to pay less money than retail or a one time. They're going to get 30% off instead of 20% off or full retail. So they get an extra 10% off when they go on subscription. They can cancel anytime. And then every 90 days with $100 or more, up to 250, they get $50 gift card sent to them that they can use on other products. And then when they spend 250 for every 3 months, then they get a $150 gift card. Some people are spending $400, $500, $600, couple grand on supplements. So you'd be surprised when they add it up what they're spending. So there's no reason why someone shouldn't go on subscription. I mean, they don't call Netflix every month to renew their subscription, right? Um, so it shouldn't be that scary. Here's a couple videos on how to recommend the product to the patient if they want to look over that and review it. And then what you want to do is you want to create accountability in that office. So every plan's great, but if it's not executed properly, then it becomes a failure. And so things start to fall off the back of the wagon. So this is an accountability chart based on executing the 4 disciplines of execution, which is a Stephen Covey book, which is pretty good. I read it. Lead and lag measures, wildly important goals. Um, so your wildly important goal is obviously, get them to 10,000 in volume, right? So how are you going to get there? Well, you got to scan patients and you got to put patients on product, right? So we figured out if they scan 5 patients a day, not charging for a scan, but scan 5 patients a day and put 1 out of 5 on a product, they can get to what we call, for you new people that haven't heard this term before, brand representative. We don't tell them that because we don't want them to get lost in the details. But we say your goal is scan 5 patients a day, put 1 on product, and the comp plan will take care of itself for them. Ideally, they want to get up to 10,000 in volume. That's between 150 and 200 patients, depending on what the dollar amount is per prescription, per subscription order. But they want to target at least 150 to 200 patients. That's their goal on this program, right? And so that's when they're going to be at that 10,000 in volume. And that's where they're going to see significance. Now, the other thing you got to set up in the beginning is expectations, remember? So healthcare providers and most people in general are used to trading time for money, linear income. I know if I work an 8-hour day, I know what I'm going to get at the end of the week, right? I know if I'm a healthcare provider, how many patients, if I see 40 a day, what I'm going to be making, right? And so this is totally different than what they're used to. So you have to get them to change the way they think in the beginning by setting the expectation. Look, doc, this isn't linear growth. This is exponential growth. You've heard of compounding before, right? Right. So this is compounding. Every month it's going to grow and grow and grow. So it's not going to be day one, all this cash flow coming. It's going to be a build and it's based on volume. But it's passive. So you do a little bit of work in the beginning, which your staff's doing most of it. You're just recommending the products. And then throughout the year, as that patient's on product, you're making residuals. And that's when you want to show the spreadsheet again. You want to get them to start thinking that, right? But that 150 to 200 patients, that's the sweet spot. So we give them 3 months to get there. We give them 4, an extra 1 in case, it's like in the summertime and they have a slow month or some slow weeks because people are on vacation. So we give them an extra month to get there, but ideally they should get there in 3 months. If they're doing 5 patients a day, if they do more than that, they're going to get there quicker. And then you could do a staff challenge. Those are always fun. I did one recently. People get very competitive with that. So that's always fun to do. Nobody wants to be in last place with their scan score. Here's some practical tips. Here's some, expectations here. We went over that. The 50, 25, and 25, that's very important. All right. It should be normal process, normal workflow. Don't force it. It's like blood pressure, weight, and temperature. Now they're getting their nutrition measured, right? It doesn't need to be this big, okay, stand here, don't move, put your arms up like this, and something circles around you like in the airport. No, it's just a hanging, it's just a scan and they get the results right then and there. All right. Here's some marketing. I don't know if somebody asked me about this, but there's marketing here. You can download these. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You're crazy. Well, you're you're missing the boat if you don't take advantage of that. With all the science we have backed up with this, you are really wasting a month of momentum and getting people excited about what we're doing with this here. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every month has a disease. Sometimes there's multiple ones. Just look it up online. I think it's Alzheimer's in November, right? It's oxidative stress in the brain, guys. That's all it is. That's all Alzheimer's is. They can label it diabetes type 3, but at the end of the day, it's oxidative stress in the brain. That's what we're measuring, right? Make sure the brain has proper nutrition. And then here you want to just, I was doing this for a guy, today, it's a McDonald's, it's less than a McDonald's value meal. Well, I don't eat McDonald's. Good, you shouldn't eat McDonald's. Less than a half a tank of gas, right? Whatever. People can relate to what they spend their money on. And then there's some back end results. Here's our science project. You want to get out to the headquarters to learn this science process here, to understand what we're doing, why it makes us different. There's a lot of supplement companies out there. They all say they're the best, but at the end of the day, how do you know unless you can measure it? We have a device that does that. But there's a lot of science that goes into those products. We just don't have a per diem scientist signing off on formulas, because my grandma told me to take this, this, and this, and so we're going to make money off of that grandma's formula. Now, there's a lot of science that goes into this, a lot of testing, right? The money that we spend on this stuff, most companies aren't doing, and a lot of companies are outsourcing to what we call contract manufacturers, and they lose all control of quality at that point. So they have to do a lot of vetting and make sure these contract manufacturers are doing things right. We control the whole process. And then a lot of these supplement companies, they sell to other companies. They're constantly reselling, and it's a new ownership all the time. And so in that change of ownership, how do you know that the quality stayed the same? Don't. What if somebody decides they want to make more money on a particular line item, and so they back off on the ingredient quality? Or they want to just, something's off, a microgram or a milligram, say, that's not really going to do much. Nobody's going to really know. Let's just push it through. We don't want to lose money on back orders. We don't do any of that. We spend substantial amount of money to substantiate the products, clinical studies. That ageLOC Meta, we spent about $1 million and have 7 clinicals on it. More basic training, how to set up the scanner, which you really you want to be doing that for them. Um, download the app. It's cloud based, but it has to be an Apple product. Sorry, Jackson. Can't be Android. And you can download it on the phone. Don't download it on the doctor's phone and then they're doing rounds at the hospital and they can't use the scanner because the doctor's in the hospital doing around. It has to be a dedicated device in the office. And then it could be on an iPad and an iPhone. It could be on multiple iPads and iPhones. And then those people that are running the program, they have the scanner app on their phone and they just log in real quick. It's the same login for everybody. And then it just makes it easier that way. Always turn the scanner on first, then open up the app. Then you want to hold down the Bluetooth for the initial setup. You only need to do it once, and then it'll automatically connect. You gotta have the Bluetooth on your phone though. No, if it's shut off, then it's not gonna connect. So these are little things you're gonna learn, as you go. Oh, the scanner's not working. Oh, do you have your Bluetooth on your device? Oh no, it's off. I shut it off. Okay, turn that on. Oh yeah, okay, now it's working. Right? My scanner's not connecting. I don't see it anywhere. Is the Bluetooth light on? No, it's not. Okay, I want you to hold that in for 3 seconds. It starts blinking blue. Okay, it's blinking blue. Okay, is your scanner there? Oh yes, it's there. So they don't know what they don't know. So you're going to have to get used to walking through them on the phone. If they forget to make a payment, couple months, they're going to get locked out of their scanner. Hey, I'm locked out of my scanner. Have you been making your payments on the scanner? I think so. Well, let's call corporate and find out. You call and then you find out that they've been back. They changed their credit card and they didn't update the company and they shut the scanner off. So these are little things you're just going to have to get used to and just kind of troubleshoot. And then we could talk about this in the next couple of weeks, how to set this site up for them. It's going to be the same for you and for them. So you want to set yours up so you know how to do it, and then it's easier to do theirs. Any questions? I know it's the top of the hour. We blew through that pretty quickly, but Linda does an amazing job, so she's probably going to do it again for you in like 3 or 4 weeks anyway. So she's way better at it than me. So anyway, any questions? Dr. Joe, is that a new hand or is that a hand from last?
Yeah, it's a new hand. It goes in line with scanning. David was at my office yesterday. He's the new scanner operator. He's on the line with us here. And we had an interesting story we wanted to talk about. David, if you can just share what happened with us and as a precaution for everyone else to be careful of.
Sure.
Hello, yes. Good evening, everyone. This is David.
Hey, David.
Hi. So, as Dr. Joe was saying, that make sure you guys on this, all those products. So, when you scan yourself, you don't make a fool out of yourself. Coming into, because my scan was 16,000, 16,000 at the Salt Lake when we did that scanning. So second time I did it was 17,000. So I was the lowest one in my group. So that was like, worried me. Anyway, so we came back to Florida. So I was at Dr. Joe's office and we did scan in his office and came up to 29,000. So I was surprised because, in 2 days, 3 days, and we did multiple times. And after going through a couple of times scanning, we figured out that I made a turmeric tea in the morning. So that turmeric powder was on my hand. So I say, okay, if the turmeric powder can do so much in your hand, how much that does in your body? So we figured out, and we did talk to Dr. Steven also about that. So for a new person, if you don't be fool out of yourself and you're not using the product yet, so maybe you can put the turmeric on your hand and your numbers will go up. So how will treat that because a lot of, especially Indian Pakistan, they have a lot of spices on their hand. If they eat or even if they wash, it stays there for 24 hours. So how we deal with that?
It's a testament that it's actually measuring the carotenoids. Now, these carotenoids didn't come from within your skin; they came on top of your skin. So, just like that, it really threw off the numbers big time. So, obviously, we want to make sure the skin is always clean when we're doing it. And David went and washed his hands. It didn't get it all off, but it did have a little bit of a stain. It was just an interesting story that we wanted to share as a precaution. So, just yeah, it sometimes comes out of your pores and it comes out of your hands.
Yeah. Well, good to know. Yeah, so there's a false positive just like with anything. So, if they're taking that eye supplement, it'll probably, scan higher. Um, so yeah, you just gotta watch with that. Anyway, good inputs. So that's it. So head on over to the other call. Did they put the link in the chat? Yep, it's there. Fantastic. So we'll see you next week.
All right, see you.
All right, good to see you, Dave.
Bye.
3, 2, 1.